Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
Not a game. We talking about practice.
We thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Inside a different league, I'm coming. I'm flat out coming.
It's my quarterback. And if you guys do that, man, it's unfair.
Oh, hello. Welcome everyone to another edition of the Sports Report Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. William D. Morgan. We got a ton of things to talk about. We got some things going on in the NFL. We got some things going on in the NBA. Trade talks, Giannis acting a fool, Kobe White acting a fool. We got a whole lot of things to talk about. But first, let me go ahead and bring everyone in to join in on the fun. Let me bring on my co-host and the man who has forgotten more baseball than I would ever know. Seven, what's up, brother? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right, man. You know, I don't know why people complain about their teams not making the playoffs. So this is the most relaxing end of an NFL season that I've had in a decade. Like, you know what? It's kind of nice to get a year off once in a while. Like, I mean, I don't want to be a Saints fan or anything, but a break is nice. A break is nice.
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to eat some crow on Tyler's show, it seems, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let me go ahead and bring on the next person. Let me bring on my man Endo. You can catch Endo not only here, but with me on Saturday nights on the Geek Gauntlet podcast over on Elite Sports Entertainment Network. Endo, how you doing, brother?
You know what? I'm gonna back up 7 on that. Like, this is the most relaxed I've been at the end of a football season in 11 years, because the Chiefs have always been fighting for that top spot in the AFC.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to be on the outside looking in for a change, to be a fan of football and actually care about like the logistics of the sport. I will say this, we're going to talk about a certain game today. I am going to eat some crow myself on a quarterback, not named Tyler Shaw, because he's not my quarterback. But I do need to make a revision on an opinion that I made. But yeah, I will say it officially on this show. I am rooting for the Jaguars from the AFC. Let's go Jags.
All right. And speaking of the Jags, let me bring on one of their biggest fans. Let me bring my man Rob. Rob, what's up? How you doing, brother?
Jags fan right here, y'all. So just doing a couple of things. First of all, Will, Seven, Ando, let me go ahead and say thank you for letting me be an actual member on the podcast for today. It's really nice to be here. It's nice to talk Jags, nice to talk football. And yeah, Trevor Lawrence, man, he made a bonehead move, and yet he stuck it in, and he made sure he got the win. And yeah, it's just I'm sorry to do this to everybody, but is this what it feels like when you're the last man standing out of everybody and your team still in the playoffs? I mean, this is weird, man. Like, I've never been in this position before.
Can I say, not only as your co-panelist, but as your twin brother, you should not ever say Trevor Lawrence stuck it in on a podcast. You shouldn't like that.
Hey, look, this is my first time on the podcast.
Got more in trouble.
Oh, man.
Look, this is the first time I've been on a podcast underneath my own name. I'm with my twin brother. I'm wearing a flat bill for the first time in a really, 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 really long time, y'all. So
I love
I'm still
that
trying to get
too.
the
That's
hang.
great.
Yeah, that hat's
Thanks,
awesome.
man. I'm gonna twist it around now because I like the backwards feel better.
But we gonna have to. Man, you gotta be careful, Rob, because there is HR here. HR is present.
Shit. Okay.
So
right.
you need to be ready for
HR
that.
present.
Yes,
Got it.
HR is present. Yes.
We're gonna have to
So-
pencil you in for a 9:30 appointment because I have 9 solidified since we're doing this after every podcast. No,
I
sorry,
just
you'll
have
have to
forms
take.
with his name already filled out. Everything's already done. It's already signed. I just have to put in what he did. It just saves me so much time.
Between
I had
me and
ChatGPT just draw it up for me.
yeah,
Oh,
between me and Damien, you'll see Damien on the YouTube chat. Between the two of us, we have it pretty locked down. So
I got you.
I'm going to
All
start
right.
cutting Damien's pay at some point if it doesn't stop, man. He's
agreed.
Oh yeah, facts. All right, let's go ahead and get on to our main story for the night. As you can see up at the very top there, are the Raiders truly tanking? Is this a rebuild or a total collapse? And they did lose to the New York Football Giants 34-10. Look like they're tanking for that number one pick to me. That's just my opinion. Max Crosby didn't play. Brock Bowers didn't play. They just look terrible. And I'll take it to you.
Can we just eliminate the big old fat elephant in the room?
Go ahead.
It isn't a tank if you just suck at football, right? There are just some things you don't do well, right? The Lakers don't manage egos well, right? The Chicago Bulls, since Michael Jordan left, they don't manage superstar expectations, right? Tom Thibodeau cannot set expectations for his players not getting hurt. The Raiders just can't football. Why are they the Las Vegas Raiders football team? I don't know. I think they'd work better as a ballerina or a Cirque du Soleil show. But the Raiders just don't football. Look at their roster. Geno Smith is your starting quarterback, and you think they're going to win games with Geno? Look, I know you made the playoffs a couple of years in Seattle, and we are many years outside of Geno Smith, the New York Jets football quarterback. But this is still a really bad team. Like, the Raiders do not have the pieces necessary to win the football games, and you're absolutely seeing that going on now. To lose to the Giants by 24 points shows that this team is nowhere near where it needs to be for football expectations. I think they deserve to get the number one pick. If I'm the Raiders, I'm trading out of that number one. A quarterback is not going to save that franchise. Trade back, get some more draft picks, get Pete Carroll out of there, get a young offensive-minded coach to take over as your head coach. If you want to leave Pete Carroll on as like an advisor, I think that's a smart move. He has some kind of recruiting technique with him being at USC 20 years ago, but I don't think it's a matter of tanking. I think it's a matter of that team is so far down in the hole that it looks like they're tanking.
I think it goes deeper. I think the sign that they were tanking was at the start of the season, because the Ando kind of touched on it. You've got the decision to bring in Geno Smith. You've got Pete Carroll. It is very clear now, and I don't think it gets said enough, that the reason that Seattle team looked as good as it did when Pete Carroll coached it was because of how stacked that roster was. And the fact that all those guys knew was to just go. Whereas now you have a Raiders roster who has very little talent in it, who needs to be coached. You're not going to get anything other than what you've gotten out of this roster with a Pete Carroll type coach. I do think that a coaching change is going to come from them. And then that will decide whether or not they keep or trade up with the number one pick and what's on the table. Because if you can get a solid quarterback that's going to secure your future using that number one pick, whether it's trading it, because I don't think any of the options coming out of this class are really number one pick quality for quarterback, but let's just say that's what you want to get. Even with that, unless you have the right coach for that quarterback, you're still wasting it. So they have a lot of needs though. And that's where you can kind of look at it, because otherwise you're just wasting a pick like you did last year. Having Ashton Jeanty on that team is like having a Lamborghini and using unleaded gas and oil changes from fucking Jiffy Lube. Like it is a complete waste of talent having him on that roster. And for Max Crosby walking out after he was told he was going to get sat for the rest of the year because they want to tank, Anybody that criticizes Max Crosby doesn't understand professional athletes. All he wants to do is win. He's a killer, and every team in the NFL wants Max Crosby on their roster. Every team in the NFL wants Max Crosby on the roster. What's up, Mo?
Maybe not Cincinnati because they don't want to pay him.
Mo, what's up, bro?
I mean, honestly, like as far when we're not looking at money, I'm talking talent.
Oh, dude, yeah, absolutely.
Money aside, talent. Every team in this league wants Max Crosby on the roster.
Yeah,
and he just wants to win. And so, to those criticizing him for being mad about the fact that they told him that they were going to sit him, the dude just wants to play.
Mm-hmm.
He's an athlete. He is one of those guys you want in the locker room. And I would be pissed too. Honestly. I'd be pissed too.
Let me check notes here real quick. Hang on. Raiders ain't tanking, they just trash. When your three best players are Max Crosby, Brock Bowers, and Mayer, and two of those players are in the same position, you have problems. I don't think they're tanking. I just don't think they're that good. And it's really sad that Mark Davis can spend so much money assembling this all-star roster and not afford a barber too. Just throws me off. Sorry, I had to throw the bullshit in there. That's the only Super Bowl they're going to under his ownership right now. But no, like you got to start somewhere. Like I like Mayer, I like Bowers. I thought both picks were good, but at the same time, in a league now where like they're so far behind every single game, they don't have the option for the 2 tight end set or the 13 setup. It's just, to me, like who's making those decisions? Like you can have 6, 7 offensive linemen, you can switch them out every now and then. And I guess you could say the same thing for the tight end. But like I said, if your 3 best players are Crosby, Mayer, and Bowers, and 2 of them are in the same position, there's obviously a problem with that. And I don't think the Raiders are purposely tanking. I think they're trying to win games, but the talent is just so far off. There's just nothing there for anything to surface with it.
I agree. And when your owner thinks the Super Bowl is a haircut place that he can go to get bowl cuts, that's horrible.
How's Ando in 2 places at once? I don't know. It's just weird.
So
man.
we've got below me, we've got the real Ando, and then on the other side over here, we've got the twin that we actually like. That's how this separates and breaks down.
And with that, I'm gonna leave. Thank you.
Maybe Huey.
You guys are stuck with me.
Maybe Huey is a trash owner.
No, he is. How far behind are the Raiders right now? Legit. I mean, look, you could. I'm going to argue that you have 3 playoff teams in the AFC West.
No. If it's going to be Ando and something else, it's got to be Rob Ando. I am not being called Mando, bro. Sorry.
Yeah. What I was going to say was you could argue that there are 3 playoff rosters in the AFC West alone. Kansas City, I know, didn't make the playoffs this year between injuries and them not pulling the trigger on games that they needed to win. But you could argue that there are 3 playoff caliber teams in the AFC West. And this is the product that the Raiders are coming out with week by week. You have a quarterback who leads the league with interceptions at 17. You have a team who has 2 wins. And one of those wins, granted, was week 1 against a Patriots team that were still learning to walk with Mike Vrabel at coach. So over the last 15 games, you have 1 win. You can't beat the Titans. The Titans beat you. You haven't been able to beat the Chiefs, and we saw the Chiefs haven't been at full strength, right? You're 0-4 in your other divisional games. I'm on the firm belief that they are not tanking. They are just that far behind.
What's that, Gene?
Because they're just that far behind. And when you put a product on the field like what you did against the Giants, you make the Giants look like a competent team, and the Giants themselves are struggling from 3, 4, 5 years worth of bad decisions themselves. It just tells you how bad and how far back the Raiders actually are to the rest of the league.
I got a question First of all, and here's my thing. Can you make it not look as obvious as you've been doing? I mean, you saw, and Seven, you alluded to it. He was on social media posting stuff with his kid and playing basketball.
Because he wants to play.
Right. He wants to play. He's the only leader you really have on that team, on either side of the football.
Yeah.
He wants to play. And I just hate teams tanking. I hate it. I get the situation. You're not a very good team. I understand, but at the same point, you owe the fans to go out there and put an effort to win. And these guys just haven't been putting an effort to win. And Rob, you made a point too that they're not very good.
It's for me, it's not even like they don't even have quality right now. Like you watch the game, you know exactly what's going to happen, and even like they fail the expectations on that. It's like, oh, we're down by 21, we're not going to win. Why bother trying? Like you just, it's an effort thing. It just. Yes, it looks like they're tanking, but again, they're just trash right now. Like, you can't change that until you change the culture in that locker room. And I think they went backwards getting Pete Carroll. And I don't know if Geno Smith is a terrible quarterback because he showed signs of brilliance with Pete Carroll in Seattle. So Geno Smith knows how to play. They're not good.
I need to take back my statement. The Raiders' 2 wins this year actually came from the Patriots and the Titans. So they did beat the Titans this year. But they haven't won a game since the middle of October, including a 31-0 loss to the Chiefs. They gave up the 2-point conversion to the Jaguars in overtime the week after. You make the Cowboys look like a competent team. Shedeur Sanders' first win for the Cleveland Browns came against the Las Vegas Raiders. Your last
competent don't forget the 31-0 loss against the Eagles.
Yeah, I was going to say, the last competent game that they played, you could argue, was 2 weeks ago against the Texans, but even then, they still looked completely outclassed. But at the same time, I agree with Rob that something has to change within that organization, and it has to start from the top. If Mark Davis does not change the philosophy for what the Raiders are, he's going to continue to hire the wrong coaches. He's going to continue to put the wrong people in the positions. Geno Smith, Kenny Pickett is not the answer at your quarterback. So you need to look at your free agency class, start there, and see where you can go. Now, if you can't make it happen, that's fine. Again, I would trade out of the number 1 pick. I don't think nobody's really jumping off the board for me this year. That's going to make a difference for them to make an immediate impact. So.
Genetically, yes, that's exactly.
Yes, genetically, yes. Oh my goodness. So, Ando, I want to kind of ask you a little bit more about that. So, you're saying they should give up the number 1 pick to try to acquire more picks?
I would, if I am the Raiders. And again, this comes from the outside looking in. I didn't really I pay attention to the college football playoffs, and I pay attention to Washington State. That being said, your Heisman Trophy winner this year was Mendoza from Indiana. I don't think he is enough of a needle pusher to take the first overall pick. That being said, there could be a defensive lineman or a defensive back. You could draft at 1. Is there one that you would be willing to take the first overall pick? Or if I am an alternative Mark Davis, right? Not this Mark Davis because he's dumb as hell. I mean, look at his haircut. That's all that needs to be said. If I am a competent owner, I am listening to teams
Cal, what's up?
offering me for the first overall pick. If I am the Raiders.
So
you absolutely lose to the Chiefs. Keep that first overall. I'm not saying you tank. Make it look competitive, please. But you need to listen to offers for.
Who got the show in the background? Pick. Anybody got the show going in the background?
It could be my voice. It carries. My bad.
But
so just throwing this out here, a lot of the mock drafts that I've seen for different teams, and obviously with mock drafts, these are analysts that are putting this together. Not a lot of this is going to be from scouts and stuff like that. But I've seen multiple mock drafts in the last 24 hours that have the Raiders taking Mendoza. So the question becomes, if they take Mendoza, who are they replacing with Pete Carroll that can actually coach that kid to the point where he's going to be a serviceable quarterback in the NFL? Do you bring in Matt Nagy? Do you? I don't think Matt Nagy's a great coach. I'm just saying, like, who do they try to actually bring Fernando Mendoza to NFL life? Because he's not that's not a pro style offense that they run. He is not NFL ready right now. So if that's who they're going to grab, who are they going to have coach him to get him ready in time? That's the $1 million question, I feel like.
Yeah, but which offensive coordinator is going to be like ready to venture out on his own? Like, which way do you go with that? Because Mendoza is going to need somebody who's going to be offensive minded. And let's take a look at this. Trevor Lawrence. Doug Peterson was said to be a really good coach. He was going to open up with everything as far as getting Trevor Lawrence after the disaster that was Urban Meyer. He didn't do it. Liam Cohen came in and they're all, oh, hey, Jaguars were 4-13. There's no way that they're going to open up the offense. There's no way that they're going to push him to be an elite quarterback. And is Trevor Lawrence elite this year? I would say he's better than mediocre, and I would say he's probably at the good level. But if you look at the last 5 games, 15 touchdowns, and I think maybe 3 or 4 interceptions. Trevor Lawrence has been opened up because an offensive-minded coach took the reins and said, I'm going to open up around you. I don't see anybody that offensive-minded being able to come out and put Mendoza into a position where he could be offensive ready. There's no offensive coordinator that's going to do that, yet alone any head coach who would be able to step in to do that. You're going to need somebody who can put the offensive pieces together and a coach who can keep the defense together long enough for them to start making a splash. And I would probably guess 2-3 years. And that's something Oakland, Las Vegas Raiders haven't been able to do. Like, no results, quick, get them out. No results, quick, get them out. Tom Cable, I think, has been their best coach in the last 20 years. He went 6-0 against the AFC West, and they still fired him because he had an 8-8 after one season. So you got, like I said, the culture's got to change. You have got to get this guy. If you're going to take Mendoza with the first pick, you got to find somebody who's going to be able to train him and get him comfortable, and it's going to take a couple of years for that to process.
Agreed.
I agree with this statement right here.
Yep. 100% agree.
I don't think
maybe next year, but not out of this class. No,
because I don't see none of these guys in Mendoza. I don't see Simpson. I don't see Nussmeier from LSU. I don't see any of these guys.
Dante Moore from Oregon. I don't think he's ready. I think Dante Moore might be the most ready out of them. But even you put him with a rookie coach learning a brand new system. I agree with Rob. This Vegas turnaround is going to be at least 2, 3, 2 or
at this point.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, you have to go. It's not going to be an instant turnaround. And I agree with Kyle. You start with that offensive line. If you're going to draft, that's why I think the Raiders should draft back, because they have too many holes and too many patches. Seven said it best. Crosby is the best player on that team. After Crosby, it's Brock Bowers and Mike Mayer, which is 2 tight ends. So you don't need to draft another tight end for like 10 years. You should not have any inclination for tight ends. I don't care if it's Travis Kelce the second that's coming out of Cincinnati. You do not draft another tight end. But there are too many other issues that the Raiders have. If you can get an additional 3 or 4 picks over the next 2 years, it speeds up the process.
Right.
You have $100 million in cap space. Now, the other issue that you're looking at with Vegas is because they are such a dumpster fire, who's going to want to play for that organization? I get that the money's right, but who's going to want to come to Vegas and play? You're playing 3 of the tougher teams in the division with Kansas City, Los Angeles, and Denver. We can argue Denver's defense is very solid. Kansas City's is very good most days. I mean, they just held Denver to 20 points on Christmas Day. And the Chargers, when their defense is healthy, is a very solid defense. So you need an offense that is not going to get beat up by those top 3 defenses. That's the way I look at it. You got to fix the offensive line first and fix the defensive pieces, and then pick up your stalwart talent for your wide receivers, and you got Ashton Genty. So if you can get an offensive line, Genty will be fine.
We got a question.
Yeah, that's where the
here.
only
Tyler, our buddy from the Geek Gauntlet podcast, wants to know who will be the Super Bowl teams this year.
It is impossible to say. It is impossible.
It's New England and San Francisco.
As a fan with their team still in the fight, I honestly feel all of the offenses in the AFC are probably the best offenses I've seen. Like most of you have at least one or two teams where just their defense is really good and their offense is good enough to take them to the dance. Every single one of these teams in the AFC has an incredible offense when they're on. The two teams that scare the living crap out of me are Jacksonville, because they're my team and I trust in their defense because they've shown it in their 6-7 game win streak, and the Houston Texans. The Texans have shown what they can do if they can get the pressure on the quarterback, get their defensive backs into position to make the plays. They've shut down a lot of good teams in their 7-game run, and they've also started that by beating the Jaguars. If Jacksonville plays Houston and they do it in the AFC Championship game, there is absolutely no way I'm going to go, Jacksonville's winning this one easy, because their defense scares the living hell out of me. Every other defense, especially any of them in the AFC West, they've bet to Trevor Lawrence and Liam Cohen with all of the offenses being set, being able to play their game. And I've seen the defenses for all the other 6 teams or all the other 5 teams in the AFC, they've struggled. The Texans are the only one who I've seen week in and week out in their winning streak not bend or not break. So my pick, AFC, I would love to see the Jaguars. If the Jaguars can't go, I want to see the Bills win the Super Bowl so they can bring a banner to their new stadium for next season. Realistically speaking, that Texans team is the most dangerous team in the AFC right now.
Not even close.
But you don't think so?
Not even close. The Texans are more inconsistent than Jamie Lee Curtis before she discovered Activia yogurt. The truth of the matter is, and this is not just because I'm backing up my boy Kyle, who is also a Red Sox fan. The truth of the matter is, people are continuing to disrespect this Patriots team. That is fucking believable. Drake May is the truth, and Mike Vrabel is not fucking around. He absolutely should be coach of the year. And the Patriots have just consistently won and won and won. We look at who's ranked ahead of them right now, the Denver Broncos. Not going to take away from Denver's amazing season, but their defense has been struggling as of late.
Oh yeah. And
their offense is inconsistent as well. The Patriots should be ranked number 1 right now if we look at actual strength of team. And I will say this. The Patriots have had, when you look at quote unquote strength of schedule, you could say the Patriots have had one of the lower strength of schedules because of how they ended up last year ranked. But they've won they've won 13 of the 16 games they've played. They are continuing
the losses that they had
to ask for who they have. So
the losses that the Patriots has was week 1 against the Raiders at home by 7. They lost week 3 at home against the Steelers by 7. And then they lost at home against the Bills by 4 3 weeks ago. The other games that they have, right? So, sure, they've beaten the Dolphins once. They played the Dolphins on Sunday. They've beaten the Titans. They've beaten the Browns. But they've also beaten teams like the Panthers and the Buccaneers. Those are 2 teams that are fighting for playoff spots. I don't care how weak of the division you play in. Those are 2 teams that are making the playoffs. They beat the Bills earlier this year. So, and they beat the Ravens, but the Ravens are struggling as well. Look.
Well, if you're also going to talk about that, the Patriots are a good team because they beat the Falcons and they beat the Saints, who, as of right now, are on winning streaks and trying to compete.
So the argument, if I used any argument with the Patriots, it's their strength of schedule. They're winning the games that they need to win, but the tough competition, and I guess the Raiders aren't tough competition, but the 2 teams that I feel like they had an opportunity to beat in the Steelers and the Bills, because they had a 14-point lead against the Bills of Foxborough, and you give up that game, right? So You can argue, but the reason I'm not going to say who I think will win out of the AFC, because there are flaws with every single team that you are watching. The Broncos, yes, their defense is incredible, but their defense only seems to turn it on in the second half. They give up way too many points in the first half. Or the teams that they should be smacking around, like the Raiders and the Chiefs, they leave those guys in the games. Hell, the game against the Giants back in October, they had to score 26 points they scored 33 points in the final quarter to win that game. You should not have to score 33 points to beat a Giants team. The Texans, great. Yeah, they're on a 7-game winning streak. But if CJ Stroud is not on point, that team struggles. Case in point, look at the game that they had against the Raiders. They should have mopped the Raiders, and the Raiders kept it within one score the entire game. Chargers, right. Injuries is going to dismantle that team. The Bills, when they play a good team that socks them in the mouth, for whatever reason, they fold. The case in point that I will use to counter that is when the Bills play a good team like the Patriots. They kept up with the Patriots perfectly fine. So the argument that I will use is the AFC is so top heavy, I can't say who I would pick as a positive to win the division, because you can't. Every team is decided within 2 games
to win the conference.
Well, here's what I will say about the Bills. When Josh Allen knows a team is stacked and actually sees it that way, that is where he struggles. He knew that Chicago had game when they played yesterday. He knows, but when he was facing the Patriots, he wasn't scared of them because he's thinking that they're the Patriots of old. And so he was more relaxed. The ball was more accurate. He wasn't as uncomfortable in the red zone. But when we look at when he's like, and now he's going against all stacked teams and he knows it. So as he gets into the postseason, that fear is going to be in his mind. And as much as people want to get pissed when I say this, Josh Allen has proven time and time again, he is not elite. He is just an above average guy. And when you look at the fact that Sean McDermott it is clear now that Sean McDermott is not a great coach, as we have seen countless times throughout the way that this team has operated this season and the last few years. It is very, very clear that the Bills will be it is possible that they are a one-and-done team. Otherwise, they will be out by the second round because there is not enough consistency on that team to actually deliver. And with the Patriots, you know, with how little of an expectation everybody had on the Patriots going into this year, how low the bar was for Drake May. These guys are playing with house money and they're comfortable. That is one of the things that makes this Patriots team deadly, because nobody has taken them seriously at all this year. And now nobody has a choice. But you don't have a lot of consistent good fun. You don't have a lot of consistent good footage on Drake May yet. You have some, but you don't have enough to pick up a lot of extensive tendencies. So Drake May is still going to be able to surprise him. But when you look at the rest of the teams in the AFC, Bo Nix, you have a little bit more. Sunshine, obviously, you have quite a bit. Aaron Rodgers, you know how to beat him. The Houston Texans.
Aaron Rodgers even going to the playoffs because they got to get through Baltimore first. And with the goose egg they laid against there is no team in the AFC that I can put my faith behind, because every one of them has struggled at some point. Everyone has a flaw that I think is too big to overlook.
But that's a good question, though, that Reed just asked. What offense does Josh Allen have besides James Cook?
If Brandon Cooks plays even 75% of the potential that he played against Philadelphia, because he had 4 catches for 104 yards, Shakir can get out of his own head. And you're fine. Like, the offensive line is okay. Look, Philadelphia's front 4, front 7, you can't argue it's one of the best in football. It's what's keeping Philadelphia in the game.
You can't argue that.
Yeah. So look, you're a missed extra point, technically 2 missed extra points away from beating Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a good team. I don't care what anybody says. Philadelphia's offense is what gets them in trouble.
So here's what I will say to that. Like you said, Brandon Cooks is another one. Still sitting on the bench. They do have Gabe Davis and Keon Coleman, which aren't consistent, but they can still deliver.
Yeah.
He had Dalton Kincaid, but obviously Dalton Kincaid is injured. Dawson Knox is still a good tight end.
Yeah.
And I don't think he quite gets the credit that he should. But then you also have, when you look at that offensive line, it has been somewhat inconsistent, and I will grant him that. But when you look at how he performed yesterday in that 2-point conversion. Whose fault was that? Whose fault was it that they didn't get that 2-point conversion?
That was on Josh Allen. Yeah, that was
on Josh Allen.
Yeah.
The whole, and this is my point. It is not necessarily about the talent around him, because Patrick Mahomes has had plenty of situations where he didn't have talent. They were having drop issues. You know what they did? Went to the fucking Super Bowl, and they had, because of how high they finished the year before, winning the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. They had one of the hardest schedules in the game. And guess what? They still got there. So don't give me talent. That's a bullshit excuse. You cannot excuse the shitty play of Josh Allen. You can't.
No, this is true. This is true.
See, and something else I'll answer with saying, like, who's going to deliver when anything goes. To me, it's not like who's going to step up when the time calls for it. And to me, yeah, New England doesn't have any primetime playmakers. They're still winning games because they are making moments where people can step up and do it. Jacksonville was supposed to have Hunter and BTJ. Their best receiver is Jacoby Myers, who they got late in the season. Denver doesn't have any big playmakers on offense. It's been trust by committee. So for me, and you know what? I will give Drake May credit.
Go to timeout. Reed, go to timeout.
I think Drake May should be lining up for MVP with that, but
hey,
no, who's going to step up for the game? And everybody has had people where it's like, oh, he's supposed to be the big talent, and yet they drop the ball. And then it's like, oh, well, if they drop the ball now, they're going to – and they do it the next time. So who's going to – to me, like, yeah, you guys can have playmakers, but you need those playmakers to make the plays when the time calls for it.
Put Reed's thing back up there. Let's talk about this for a fucking minute. Because I'm sick of this fucking narrative about the Chiefs and the refs. Because here's the thing. When we look at the way these games are called, there is an average of 3 penalties or 3 plays across the Chiefs game where people are like, oh, the refs helped him out. Oh, the refs helped him out. There's 150 fucking plays in an NFL game. Don't give me this bullshit excuse about the fucking refs. Play the goddamn game and do it right, and don't fuck up as much. And the fact that the Chiefs are fucking up if the refs are actually helping the Chiefs, will not hold against you. Just play the goddamn game correctly. It's not that complicated.
Ando can attest to me for this. It's a bullshit
excuse.
Ando can attest to me for this. For the last 7, 8, 9 years, I have been saying that the refs have been fucking terrible. Like, there's no excuse for the way that they've been calling the game. It is across the league, but because the Chiefs are winning, they're the ones who are getting the refs. It's like, no. Fuck that. It's if we're gonna call one ref, if we're gonna call it against the Chiefs, you need to call it across the board. Because I've seen blatant pass interference and the refs go, we'll do it. But when then Jacksonville needs a freaking call and they've got a person jumping on their back, it's like, no, it's not. Oh, the prize receiver over there just got pushed. Flag. No, the refs have sucked all season.
The refs have been terrible across the league for several years.
Yes.
You can watch any game and see bullshit calls or bullshit missed calls. It's just talked about the Chiefs because of how much they were fucking winning. It's a bullshit excuse. There's 150 plays in an NFL game.
Mm-hmm.
Don't focus on the 3. That's a loser's mentality. It is excusing bad play by your team when you blame the refs instead of doing the other 147 plays correctly.
Yeah, here's my philosophy. If you have to blame the refs for a loss, it means your team didn't do the plays that you needed to, right? Because it's going to come down. If you think those 3 plays are the plays that make the difference is those 3 calls, fix your shit, right? So we'll take the 13-second game, for example, because how many calls did the Chiefs get in that game? The Chiefs got like 4 penalties called, right? For them in the fourth quarter. And the Bills, every single time, managed to score and make it a touchdown, right? Yep. You make one change on defense. You stop Patrick Mahomes in that 13 seconds. It doesn't matter, right? The game is over at that point, right? You look at the Super Bowl 58, Super Bowl 57, when the Chiefs beat the Eagles. Everybody wants to complain that the Chiefs got that call on the final drive. Well, if you would have stopped the Chiefs earlier in the first half from stopping them from getting that punt return, or stop them on any of those other scoring drives, you'd be winning the game. But instead, you want to focus on that one call that happened at that one timely moment. People who do it like that are focusing on the wrong part of the game. That's why whenever the Chiefs get called for a penalty, or, hey, we gave up 4th and 6, we get a pass interference call against the Chiefs defense and we lose a game. Hey, what put us in that position to allow that fourth down to keep them in the game, right? You can't look at it as the referee screwed us over. If you're looking at the penalties as your do or die moment, you don't understand football, because football is an entire game. It is not one or two moments. It is the entire game.
And here's the thing that I'll say about this. The Chiefs' struggles this year were not because they weren't getting calls. If we want to talk about, there were quite a few times where the Chiefs didn't get calls that they should have gotten. But that's not the excuse that we're talking about, because we know that our wide receivers weren't doing what they needed to do. That offensive line wasn't giving Mahomes the time. That defense was not executing like it was supposed to. It was above average, but they weren't executing like they were supposed to. Yeah. There were so many other things that went wrong before we talk about officiating. But we also have to acknowledge that officiating has been horrible across the entire league. But people just want to talk about Kansas City because they're the ones getting so much attention. Miss me with that fucking bullshit. Let's call out all of the officiating, or the fact that the NFL is getting ready to go through a CBA with the officials. There was a news story on it this week, I believe on ESPN. I saw it, where they want they are trying to do it to where the officials are actually full time, cutting down the dead period, having more training, and so that they have more specific, more consistency as far as calls, and making them get more involved as far as like helping at training camps and stuff like that. So that all of the officials are far more seasoned and ready to go when the season starts. And they are fighting it. Even though they would make more money and it would be a full-time career for them, they are putting their foot down and not wanting to do it. Why? Because it puts accountability on them to actually do their job correctly. So until the officials are doing their job correctly, miss me with all that bullshit. It's a bullshit excuse. It shows weakness.
I will also have you know that the Chiefs have been called for 112 penalties this year. Their opponents have been called for 106. So the Patriots are getting called more this year.
Chiefs are getting called more.
The Chiefs are getting called more this year.
Yeah. So where's your
said Patriots?
Oh, I'm sorry. Chiefs, Patriots.
It is. If the Chiefs had played better, then those penalties wouldn't have had the impact that they did. It's a bullshit excuse to rely on that.
Or
that's a loser's mentality.
Or be a real fan of your team and say that the referees didn't screw us over. Our team needs to get better.
Now, let me head over to another game I did want to go ahead and talk about tonight. We got the San Francisco 49ers getting a huge win against the Chicago Bears, 42-38. Let me ask y'all a question, though. And I know they lost this game, but let me ask you a question. Two-part question. A, did you see the Bears being back? And B, are they back to being monsters of the Midway again?
Can I start this one off?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to start off because I know Seven and Rob do this. Well, I want to publicly announce on this platform that I was wrong about Caleb Williams. Last year and most of this year, I have been all on the bandwagon of saying that Caleb Williams needs to grow up or he is not going to be an elite quarterback. Right. I would like to refresh my stand and say Caleb Williams is a top 10 quarterback. I know Seven is going to disagree. Look, Caleb played a different style of football last night, right? And he's played different style of football over the last month and a half, right? The game against Green Bay, he could have easily turned into, I'm going to go cry in my mom's arms because we lost the game. What did he do? He put his nuts up and he scored a touchdown. He threw a touchdown pass to a wide open receiver. Last night, no turnovers, no stupid plays. The kid kept his team in that game the entire 60 minutes that he was on the field. That takes mentality. The team has turned around because he is keeping control. He's taking better control of the football. You don't do that unless you're willing to mature, not only as a person, but as a player. He's taking Ben Johnson's advice. Who's the offensive? I forgot who the offensive coordinator is in Chicago. I know the defensive coordinator is Dennis Allen. Mm-hmm. So to answer Will's question, yes, I think the Chicago Bears are back.
Isn't it Kellen Moore in?
No, Kellen Moore is in New Orleans.
Kellen Moore.
He's the head coach.
Yeah. But I think the monsters of the Midway are back. I know they didn't. No. They got one turnover last night for a pick six to start the game, but then they didn't get another turnover. Yeah. But teams are now scared to play the Bears, and it shows in a game like they had last night against one of the better teams in the NFC. Caleb just missed a throw at the end of the game, and he said it. He said it at the end game press conference that if he put a little more air, his guy had a shot at that ball. Look, Caleb has grown up a hell of a lot this year, and I think if we can continue to see the matured Caleb Williams that was drafted first overall, that doesn't make mistakes, that is doing a better job reading defenses. This is a scary Bears team. Now, personally, I hope they keep the 2 seed, make Philadelphia play the 3. I would like to see Philadelphia get their ass kicked by San Francisco in the first round. Sorry, Gene, if you're watching this. And then have Chicago play Green Bay, because I thought that was an amazing game the 2 times that they played. And I like it when division rivals play each other in the playoffs. I like that kind of rubber meets the road in the rubber match.
Go ahead, Seven.
Okay, so here's the thing. Caleb Williams has had flashes of good this year. I will not deny that. It's undeniable. But as a quarterback, let's talk about his numbers this year in comparison to last year, where he was getting fucking dragged, okay? Let's look at one of the things that I find to be a glaring difference, okay? Yes, he's getting more yards this year, but they also have been a lot more pass heavy. But let's also talk about this. Last year, Caleb Williams had a 62.5% completion percentage. That's a little bit above league average, right around it, but right in that range. This year, 57.5. He has had to work harder because he is missing more throws. And that is a recipe for disaster. It's why I have no faith in the Bears in the postseason, because if you have to rely on the accuracy of Caleb Williams, you are going to struggle. It is going to be an uphill battle. And last night we proved that you can't rely on that defense, because if either team brought their defense last night, that game would not have been what it was. That was an offensive shootout that shouldn't have happened, because both of those teams' defenses should have been better. And
I will challenge one thing on that, Seven. The Bears defense showed up on that first drive. After that, they tanked. If they didn't do that, I say
that's
San
fair.
Francisco wins
That's fair, because
I say San Francisco wins by 2. I say San Francisco wins by 2 possessions. I agree with everything else that you said. I'm not a Caleb fan. I haven't been a Caleb fan. He has shown sign of brilliance this year. I will agree with everything that you say. But if you're going to be like, you have the mantra defense wins championships. Chicago's defense hasn't been great that year. Like, they've been good. They just haven't been great like they were in the past. You give me a defense like Urlacher, you give me Mike Brown, you give me the Bears of the early 2000s. Oh, yeah. Bears would be a dangerous team. If you're relying on Caleb Williams, the Bears will maybe win one game. But I'm not putting my money on the Bears to make the Super Bowl this year.
Absolutely not.
But if I'm looking at the stuff for the game last night. 7-0 started out with the interception. 49ers touchdown, 49ers touchdown, Bears touchdown. Niners touchdown, Bears touchdown, Niners touchdowns, Bears touchdown, Niners touchdown, Bears touchdown. And in the fourth quarter, when it was time for them to step up and continue the trend, Bears folded, had to kick a field goal. Niners went down, scored the touchdown. Caleb missed in the last 2 minutes of the game. So if you're going into a gunfight with Caleb Williams and another quarterback, I don't think I could pick Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams this is the sample of Caleb Williams. I can't trust him to win a football game at the end of the game. Yeah, he did good against Green Bay. Name the defensive players that were out against Green Bay. Now, I don't want to use injuries as an excuse.
No, but it's a valid statement, though. I think it's not blaming. It's just a statement of like there's some causation there as to the the results that you got.
Here's where I was going with this, though. Green Bay's defense was injured. Caleb Williams scored. Niners defense is injured more than Green Bay's. They still stepped up when it was time to play defense. And I will put more money on the Niners that they go farther than the Bears do. Because the Niners can play injured. They've proven they can play injured. They've proven that they can pretty much put in a janitor from San Diego and they can still win defensive games. So it's, again, their defense didn't show up yesterday, but at the same time, the 49ers have proven they can win with injured people. Look at Mac Jones winning games for Purdy when he was out. So this season, to me, San Francisco has proven that they are a plug-and-play team.
I agree, and I will say I agree with what Kyle's saying here. This is a growth season for Caleb. Now he and Ben Johnson can build off of this year. I absolutely agree with this. But and this is a growth year because I'm pretty sure this is Ben Johnson's first year as a head coach, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
And so I do think there is accuracy there because I still think that Caleb has the potential to be even better.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that he's a trash quarterback. They need to trade him. They need to move on. I'm not saying any of that, because things that he has done this year, even though it isn't by much, he has gotten more yards. He's gotten more touchdowns, and he has thrown less interceptions. So there are signs of growth.
Oh, yeah.
But I haven't seen enough out of him to make me believe that he is anything other than an average guy right now. And I don't think he is a first, I don't think he's a number one pick talent. I haven't seen anything that gives me the belief that he's a number one pick talent. And he can grow into where you actually start to feel like you can see the true talent and where the number one pick comes from. But right now he hasn't earned it. I have not seen enough that he's earned it.
Agreed.
And again, judging him to his peers, not saying I could be better. I judge players against themselves. I couldn't do that shit.
Yeah.
My thing is this, and when you go back in and you look at the 49ers, and again, shout out to them. They've gone through hating on us. They've gone through every injury you can think of, every injury, and they've on their way to the playoffs. Still somewhat competing for that division.
If you're talking about the 49ers, still number one as well.
Yeah.
They beat the Seahawks. They beat the Seahawks. They're number one.
Kudos to them, and kudos to them for next man up and really sucking it up and getting it done.
The problem is I don't trust Shanahan in the playoffs.
Oh no,
that's true.
No, that's true too. That's true too.
That's a very fair statement.
Kyle,
very
do
fair
we trust
statement.
Shanahan in the playoffs? No, we don't. As Chiefs fans, we absolutely love that we can't trust Shanahan in the playoffs.
We talked about earlier the Buffalo Bills choking.
Wait, it is a tie game on Monday Night Football right now, 24-24.
Yep.
The Rams finally decided to start playing football. Good for them.
Damien, I'm not a Chiefs fan, and I miss Eric Bieniemy.
I need Matt Stafford to not touch the field again the rest of the game.
Matt Stafford right now is 22 of 34, 269 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks, 3 sacks with a quarterback rating of 71.8.
He threw a third pick already.
Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah, he threw a third pick right at the end of the third quarter. No, if Stafford, if the score holds right now, like let's say Atlanta holds the football, kick the game-winning field goal, and Stafford doesn't touch the field again, I win my fantasy football championship.
How much are you down?
I am up 122.9 to 119.6.
So it's a 3-point game right now.
You really don't.
Nope, I cannot get Stafford. Yeah, Stafford. Or if the Rams want to pick off Cousins and take it for a touchdown and end the game like that, I'm totally okay with that. But Stafford cannot touch the field.
In one of my championship games, I'm gonna lose because guess who I played up against? Derek freaking Henry.
Oh yeah.
Damn. But the thing I did want to say real quick, before we get on out of here, I do want to go over to the NBA. And it seems as though we got some stuff to talk about with the Golden State Warriors, and Draymond Green is still in the news. He ended up getting in trouble with Steve Kerr. They got into a little altercation for him walking out. And now they're up here. He's in trade. They're saying that he's in trade talks with the Milwaukee Bucks for Giannis. First of all, I don't know, unless you bring a third team in this, how does the Golden State Warriors get Giannis? And number two, and actually 3-part question. Number two, how do you manage that, still keep Jimmy Butler? And number three, would that be one of the best big threes we've ever seen with Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Giannis?
I don't see that happening.
I don't either.
Because the Bucks are not going to get rid of Giannis for a defensive heavy player. Are you expecting Draymond Green to score 20 points a game?
You're gonna have to put a third team involved in this.
Yeah, I mean, because the Bucks are not going to get rid of a 25-point player for a guy that maybe scores 8 a game. I think he's averaging 8. You lost Damian Lillard to Portland in the offseason, even though he wasn't going to play this year.
Right.
Who's your next guy? Middleton isn't there anymore.
Lillard's hurt.
No, Lillard plays for Portland now. Lillard got re-signed by the Blazers.
Don't don't forget now. Don't forget. Jonathan Kuminga is out there, but his players suffered because Steve Kerr lost confidence in him, and now he's averaging like 5 points a game. So,
Damien. That's my twin brother, bro.
So
I'm a better Ando.
So if you make this happen, you're gonna have to get a third team involved. Because last I checked, nobody wants Draymond, because Draymond is trouble, and Jonathan Kuminga has hurting his own value. He should have left when he had the chance.
Yeah.
I mean,
go ahead, Seven.
I was gonna say, because it's honestly, I think you're right, because like we look at what they've got for draft picks. They've got the first for 2026, 2027, 2028, and 2029. They've got a second for 30, and then a first and depending on a second for 31, and the first for 32. Like they've they would be sending all of their draft picks.
Definitely
for Giannis. That's
what are
the
first round picks that the Warriors have?
The next, I think it's the next, what is it? The next 4 years, the next 5 years. So 26, 27, 28, and 29.
Okay. So so 26 would be the next round. So you could do 26, 28, 30, or you can do 27, 29, and 31. Because of the Stepien rule, you cannot trade back-to-back first-round picks without an exception.
Right.
So you could do 2026 straight up, do 2028. Lower team gets the better draft pick. Then go maybe straight up on 30. But I don't think you just outright trade all three without some kind of protection on the picks.
Would OKC still outrun those boys with their young legs?
Yes,
I agree.
Yeah. Okay,
look,
Oklahoma City proved that last year with all of the teams that they conquered in the playoffs, and with the start that they I don't know the exact numbers that they had, because I don't follow basketball as much, but you're looking at a basketball team who's got, yes, SGA is by far the primary leader and the centerpiece of that team, but you've got options all over that team. There is no way you could cut one person off that team. Oklahoma City would still be a good basketball team.
The only team that seems to have their number this year has been the San Antonio Spurs, and the San Antonio Spurs are just as young and versatile and deep as OKC is.
If I'm going with San Antonio, you need to keep those pieces together, and you need to get a coach just like Greg Popovich. If you are doing the roundabout thing with that, there's no way that the Spurs are going to be keeping up with the Thunder. You have got to get a coach like Greg Popovich in there who knows what the hell they're doing and can keep that team together.
Damien,
go to my office.
Go to HR right now. Go right. Don't even wait till the morning. Go right now.
I will say.
Oh my goodness.
Mitch Johnson, who took over for Greg Popovich as the head coach, is doing a really solid job with the Spurs.
Oh yeah.
I think they found their coach. Their roster is deep. When you got back-to-back Rookie of the Years in Stephen Castle and Victor Wembanyama, you got Devin Vassell, you got Keldon Johnson, you got De'Aaron Fox. When he gets healthy again, he'll be a really hard player to play with. Harrison Barnes coming off the bench. You got Kelly Olynyk coming off the bench. Look, this is a very stacked team. I think Will said it best. You have a very deep team, and this is a very young team. Bismack Biyombo, who they signed earlier this season, is 33. He's the oldest player on the team, besides Kelly Olynyk, who just celebrated his 34th birthday. You have 1, 2, 3 guys who are over the age of 30. You have one guy at the age of 30. This is a solid team. This is a team I think that will compete with OKC. How San Antonio has beaten OKC 3 times already this year is beyond me.
Because they can run with them. I
would love to see OKC and San Antonio in a 7-game series in the Western Conference Finals. I would absolutely love it.
Because they can run with them. And it seems to me, Chet's scared of Wemby. That's what it seems to me.
Well, who's the other guy? Hartenstein?
Could be wrong.
Hartenstein, I think, matches up better with Victor. So if you put Victor and Hartenstein together and leave Chet kind of in that sweet mid range between the paint and the 3-point line, I think that's where they go. I think that's where they need to keep Chet.
Trades with Trey Young fit with the Rockets for Jabari Smith, Eason, and Fred VanVleet.
I'm gonna say
you know
no.
what? I'm gonna say yeah.
I'm gonna say no. And the reason I say that is because Trey Young is kind of ball heavy, and you're taking the ball out of Kevin Durant's hands.
Right.
And I think with as old as Kevin Durant is, yes, it's nice to get a second ball option player. But I think the chemistry that the Rockets have, because of how kind of committed they are, that they have the veteran leadership in Kevin Durant.
Yep.
You do not want to mess with that. Look at what happened with Phoenix. You bring in Bradley Beal, and it completely screws up the chemistry that they have between him and Booker. Yep. Leave it as is. You don't need to add any pieces. You're fourth currently in the conference. You're game back of the Nuggets. You're still within shouting distance of the Spurs because you're only 2 back from them.
Mm-hmm.
You just had a really good game against the Lakers on Christmas Day. Keep it as is. You don't need to make any changes.
I do agree, though. At some point, the hole at point guard for the Rockets may start showing through. But right now, with the way they're playing, I'm keeping things status quo. Back to the NFL real quick. I do want to talk about. We talked about this. We talked about the Eagles choking. What about them Steelers? What about them Steelers? Oh my gosh!
Aaron Rodgers is retiring after this season, and the Browns.
Whether he wants to or not,
the Browns did one hell of a thing to beat the Steelers and make next week's game, Sunday night game, primetime game. Falcons just kicked a field goal with 21 seconds left. Brandon,
Stafford's going to get the ball back.
Yeah, I don't.
My
butthole
butthole is going to be puckered for the next 21 game seconds.
One completion of over 30 yards and you're done.
Real quick, Damien.
Yeah,
don't nobody want Patrick Williams, man.
Yeah, no. Vucevic you can argue with, but Pat Will, no. Like
you could.
Yeah, Pat will trade for a half-off coupon for cotton candy and peanuts at the United Center, please.
No, I got to get at least a full month of Xbox Live Ultimate.
Can I get some cheap?
I can go.
Look at how Stephen A. Smith. How Stephen A. Smith you say? How Stephen A. Smith you say?
Can I just have a $25 gift card to Scooters for P. Williams?
Listen, can I get some? Listen. Can I get some Doritos and a Diet Coke for P. Will, please? That's all I want. That's all I want. Doritos and a Diet Coke for P. Will. Wouldn't call Kevin Durant a veteran leader. That is true because he sure wasn't that with any other team he's been with. That is true. That is exactly true. Damien got into the Rodgers stash with that one. Yeah, he did. Oh my God!
We would not welcome Aaron Rodgers to wire.
No. We're gonna give him the best offer because he can do ayahuasca on our show. We're not gonna say shit.
I'm gonna say some
Fox
shit,
and
man, because
CBS
he's gonna be out there.
Oh man.
Fox and CBS drug test. So I think we're going to give him the best offer. We're not going to judge him on his drug usage. Hell, I'll probably exchange weed strains with him from time to time. Like me and Aaron Rodgers, we're going to be good friends. I think it's what's
dude. If Aaron Rodgers has fun on the Pat McAfee show, he's going to have a blast here.
I agree. I agree. I think he would be a great fit here.
Facts.
And honestly, Aaron Rodgers is a dumbass right now, but let's be honest, he's one of the best quarterbacks that's played the game. Like probably at least top 15, but. Like it would be nice to pick his mind and like get to know things a little bit, but Stafford incomplete.
Damn, what's up, man?
Hey, Dan,
21
go.
seconds left still.
Taking your ass to HR. You taking your ass to HR.
What the hell, Daniel? I thought I made the show watchable.
We taking your ass. We taking you to HR.
Come on, man.
Come on, bro.
I'd write him up, but he can't read, so
he can't read. He can't read. Real quick, the Detroit Lions are gonna miss the playoffs. Who are we blaming for this? Who are we blaming for them missing the playoffs?
Unfortunately, I'll blame Dan Campbell just because of the fact that he was too aggressive on fourth down plays. If he would have played the long game, played the safe game for the majority of those games, Lions would be good because they proved that they were in most of those games, but he took one too many chances. I said it last week. I'll say it again this week. He was too gung-ho instead of playing the game that,
Yeah.
Same thing that ruined him after that NFC Championship game. I will say this. As much as people want to blame Dan Campbell, and I think that there's fault for Dan Campbell to take, you can't win the football game if you're turning the ball over 6 times. And there have been several situations where the Lions have put themselves in a corner because of the turnovers that they made. If they, I like Dan Campbell, so I don't want to put any blame on him, but he's got to take some of the blame.
Oh, shit.
He does, but here's the other thing that I will say, and I don't think this is getting talked about enough. I don't think that sports media has been hard enough on Jared Goff. I'm not saying he is a bad quarterback, but some of his decision making is questionable at best.
Agreed.
And the turnovers that they've had on the offense this season have been killer, and some of that's got to sit on his lap too. If it was any other team, we would have to go back and really look. We'd be criticizing the quarterback. But because Jared Goff looks a little like Ryan Gosling, we're just going to leave it alone? No, Jared Goff has to shoulder some blame here. Dan Campbell gets
Which Ryan Gosling are you looking at? I don't think he looks anything like Ryan Gosling.
But like Dan Campbell gets the bulk of it. But we've got to put a little bit on Jared Goff, I think. I don't think that's getting talked about
enough. All right. Anybody got anything else they want to touch on before we get out of here tonight?
I became a Twitch affiliate at the end of the month. So
nice. Congrats,
hopefully,
man.
Thank you, man.
Congrats.
It was a freaking grind to get that done.
That 3 viewer average is tough.
Oh, dude, that part
fucking
tough, man. Sucked. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
so I'm hoping that, especially starting at the first of the year, game plan is to get that launching stream off the road for me. You can follow me at Anderson Posse Gaming on Twitch. Other than that, I'm just gonna be living life every day at a time that I can, man.
Oh, real quick. I do need to answer this question. Then I go to U7 and also Endo. Is it time for me to admit I was wrong on Tyler Shook?
Yes.
No.
At least for a year. Wait for a better quarterback draft.
He's a rookie. He has growing pains just like every other rookie. I think it comes back down to it can't be one and done.
What?
It can't be one and done. He has to build, and if Kellen Moore stays, I think he'll be all right.
What? Damn me, you stupid. Yeah. It's time for me to say that I was wrong. You got to be a big enough man to admit that I was wrong. And
here's what I will say you don't. And because I can get it, especially with the recent success. That's very reasonable to start questioning that. Let's look at the numbers. He's got a QBR of 48.
Yes.
Okay. You can spike the ball every play and get a 39. So he's not far off from that. In the 10 games this year, he's only thrown 9 touchdowns and 5 interceptions over 10 games. Tyler Shaw I've got to see a lot more before I will step back any criticism, because all he's shown this year is that he can barely perform. Yes, it's better than I can. For people that want to throw that in the comments, I get that. I'm comparing him to his peers. There are backup quarterbacks on other teams that could have done better than that.
I agree.
But given the circumstance, he's a rookie with a first year coach and not as much talent as that team has had in the past. I don't think he's doing that bad.
I think the thing too is the fact that he didn't play earlier in the year against the tougher teams on our schedule, i.e. Buffalo, i.e. the 49ers, i.e. the Rams. He didn't play any of those teams. He's going against the sisters of the poor, so to speak, and he's getting wins. I would really have loved to see him and what he could do against those tougher teams, but I digress. We shall see. 7, Ando, any final thoughts before we roll out here tonight?
I need one more incompletion by Matt Stafford. One more incompletion from Matt Stafford.
David, man, be quiet, man. You even talk about Spencer Rattler, man. Damn.
Just need one more incompletion. Come on.
I will say this. As you know, we've got a lot of great shows on the Wide Wire Sports Network.
Yes.
I know we're going to wrap up with a video with a little information about each show. Definitely take a look at it. Check out those shows. We have shows every day, a lot of talented individuals. But one show for me that's been sitting on the back burner for a little while, that Will did with me for a while, that I had to set it down, because with First Generation Dad, it takes a lot out of me mentally, because I'm very transparent. We get real, and that can be very draining for somebody. But I've kind of gotten a renewed refreshment with it, and I've gotten some ideas for how to do some things different, how to kind of build it out. So in 2026, we will see a return of First Generation Dad.
And I'm all for it, bro.
I can't. You're going to be right there with me.
Just. Oh,
That's it. Falcons beat the Rams.
2025
That's crazy.
champion. Let's go.
That's crazy.
Oh,
that division has turned upside down the last few weeks. That's crazy.
The Rams are officially out of the first place running now. Damn.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
We caught that live on the Sports Report podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, maybe not the game, but the reaction.
Oh, yeah. And those reactions. Yes.
Ando winning a fantasy.
Yes.
First year in the pro image.
Yes.
Fantasy league. And I win the championship by 3 fucking points.
I think I went 3-5. I didn't play that many leagues this year. And I only had Jelly Beans on the line and won. I think I went 3-5 in championship games this weekend. So
That's not bad.
I'll take that.
So I guess that means I will tell you guys that this particular fantasy league that I am in, the winner gets a championship ring. So this week, next week, or the week after, I will be displaying my 2025 fantasy football championship ring.
I'm in one with a championship belt.
Oh, dude, that's even better, man. That's even better.
Oh yeah. I'm having my
fuck, dude. I was oh my god,
my shoulder like that. I'm having my shoulder like this. Hell yeah.
Thank you, Penis Jr.
I'm gonna put that one on the screen.
Yeah. It's incredible that Atlanta has had 2 fairly black or real black quarterbacks whose last name are flaccid objects like that. Because you could argue that Vic did the same thing. You could change the V to a D and his name is Michael Dick. Or you can do it with Michael Penix Jr. So I think that's kind of ironic.
You did say that, Kyle. I will give you credit on that. You did say that. Get Shaw on the field. You've been saying that for a minute, so I gotta give you that.
You guys have had the best choice at quarterback the whole time, and you haven't used him. Taysom Hill.
You
need to ride or die.
If the Falcons win next week and the Panthers lose, Carolina wins the division at 8-9.
No, Falcons. So the Falcons can't win the division. However, because Atlanta beat the Rams today, if the Falcons beat the Saints and the Panthers lose to the Buccaneers, by virtue of their tiebreakers, the Carolina Panthers would still get the division.
Yeah,
so the only way the Buccaneers now can get the division is if they win. That's the only way that they can.
Only way. Yep.
Well, okay, so that's not entirely true. If the Falcons lose to the Saints, then the Buccaneers can't. No, I think the Buccaneers have to win it now. I think at this point, I think that's the only.
Yeah, they have to. They have to win to get the division.
Yeah. Actually, here I got NFL, ESPN playoff picture. Where is actually here? I'll just do it like this. ESPN playoff machine.
Playoff machine, bro.
Yep. 2025 playoff machine. We're gonna kick this right in the bud. We'll find out. All right. So they have Atlanta with the final. So week 18, if Carolina, let's say Tampa Bay wins, and Atlanta wins. No, Atlanta has to lose. If Atlanta beats New Orleans, even if Tampa Bay wins, because everybody would have an 8-9 record, Carolina, by virtue of their tiebreaker, would take the division. So Atlanta has to lose against the Saints.
In order for Carolina to win.
No, in order for Tampa Bay to win.
Tampa Bay to win. Okay.
Yeah, Tampa Bay has to beat Carolina, and they need New Orleans to beat Atlanta. Because if Atlanta beats Carolina, Tampa Bay cannot get it. So Tampa Bay has to win, and New Orleans has to win.
So are you hoping the Saints beat the Falcons so that the Panthers can guarantee their spot, or the Bucs can try to get in, or what are you doing, Will?
Well, so the Panthers play first. The Panthers and the Buccaneers play Saturday at 4. So the Buccaneers have to take care of their business first, and then hope on Sunday that New Orleans beats Atlanta.
All right.
Holy Jesus, dude! Atlanta just fucked everything over for Tampa
They
Bay.
did. They really did.
I can't wait to hear Kyle's opinion on this.
They really did mess it up for everybody.
Well, but no, they didn't, because if Tampa Bay would have, there were a few games this year that Tampa Bay should have won that they lost.
Yeah.
If they'd have won those games, this wouldn't be a problem.
Right.
So this isn't.
Agreed.
Tampa Bay has nobody to be mad at but themselves.
Particularly the Atlanta game they lost.
Yeah. If you
They
lose
shouldn't
6 or
have lost that
7,
game.
there's you can't play
Either of them. They shouldn't have lost either game against Tampa Bay.
Nope.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, that's going to do it for us here on the Sports Report podcast. From myself, Seven, Robert, and Ando. We'll see you guys again next week. Stick around for all the fine shows that we're about to show you here on Wider Network. Happy New Year's to everybody, and we'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Welcome to 2020.